really been into 911 cabriolets. I always felt they just missed the mark as far as the styling department went. But there were a few exceptions, and they were called Speedsters. And they were very rare, none more so than that was based on the 993 generation model. There are only 2 of those ever built. One was for Alexander Ferdinand Porsche himself, and the other was for comedian Jerry Seinfeld. But there's a new one, and it's simply called the 911 Speedster. It's also going to be quite rare. There are only 1,948 of those going to be built, and take it from me, they're already sold. Now this is a proper Porsche GT3 car, and it's based off the 991 series GT3 and 911R. So down back under these beautiful double bubble streamliners is a 4-litre naturally aspirated flat 6 engine, pumping out, if you want to know, 375 kilowatts and 470 newton meters, and that's 10 HP and 10 newton meters more than a standard GT3. It'll do 0 to 100 in 4 seconds flat if you want it to, and we'll get to that later. Now let me show you how this roof works, because it's quite simple. Right, we've pulled that. We are going to lift this very gently down to there. And you can see this magnificent carbon fibre work. Now this is the largest single piece of carbon fibre that Porsche has ever built, certainly for a road car, and if not a racing car. It is absolutely magnificent. No point in hiding that with paint, of course. And there you can have the Speedster 4-litre. But let's show you the rest of the roof. Lift that up to there. Right, push that in. Very simple process. Pushing forward nice and light, and a nice slow gentle clip. And we'll push these down. Clip into there, the other like so. And there we have it. Roof is up. Now let's get the roof down, shall we? Because it's sacrilege to drive this car any other way. Right, so up, nice and gently. Don't want to force anything. Lift this up simply. Doesn't need to click into anything. And then third and last step. Just push forward. Now let's give this thing a proper thrashing, shall we? I know what you're thinking. 375 kilowatts, 470 newton meters. There are cars way more powerful than that. But trust me when I tell you that you don't want a single kilowatt or newton meter more in this vehicle. You just don't. You don't need it. It's got a brand new lightweight exotic exhaust system too. I mean, the car only weighs 1,465 kilos wet. That's with a 90-litre fuel tank. I mean, how these guys are able to get the sort of ride compliance, and I'll get to that shortly, but you have no idea how well this car handles bumps. We're on a bit of smooth road at the moment, but this morning driving to our lunch destination, we had some really bad roads that mirrored some of the Aussie roads in Sydney, and this car just crushes any bump. It's remarkable. That's the thing with 911s, the way they're able to perfect the ride handling balance is like no other manufacturer. They just can't do it as well as Porsche can do. Okay, so other point with this vehicle, because it is based on the 991 series GT3 and 911R, we've got rear axle steering, and that is a treat when you're in some of those tight bends. Oh, this car is just, God, you just got to work out how you can get $604,800, because that's the sticker price, plus on roads, of course, in Australia. And the Porsche PR guy, Chris Jordan, told us that there's around 20 odd cars coming to Australia, and they have at least 60 expressions of interest with money down. So the hope of getting one of these is unfortunately very slight for anyone that might be watching this video. You just can't get enough of that 9,000 RPM howl. It's better than anything that the London Philharmonic Orchestra might play at the Royal Albert Hall in London, because there's just nothing better. It's literally crack for petrol heads, this thing. The other benefit, of course, other than a remarkable ride comfort over some very ordinary roads, particularly on this morning's drive loop, is the fact that all the GT3 things are there. Other than the rear axle steering, we've also got torque vectoring. We've also got dynamic engine mounts, of course, which are standard on the 911 when you option the Sport Chrono package. We've got a bit of a clear road ahead, so that's 9,000. And of course, you never need to work these carbon ceramic brakes. Just insane. Now, I want to talk about throttle response, because this is that's where this car really differs, even from a stock GT3 of the 991 era. Now, the main component that allows insane throttle response is the fact that they have designed individual throttle bodies. That's right, individual throttle bodies. Now, that's racing technology, but it goes further. This is a very, very complex bit of engineering, sophisticated engineering. Never been used before on a road car, according to Porsche. But the immediacy, and it's always been immediate in a naturally aspirated flat 6 911 engine, but this takes it to a whole new level because of the individual throttle bodies. And it's very expensive as well, which is probably why this car has such an extreme price tag placed upon it. The ease that it is to drive this car flat is just unreal. It's, I mean, I might sound like a friggin' Porsche ad here, but for someone that owns a 911 Carrera S, I'd swap that and my house in a heartbeat for this thing. Absolute blink of an eye. Because you cannot get enough of that flat 6 howl, and thank God this is a Speedster and not a closed roof vehicle. Dynamic engine mounts help, of course, because they stop any inertia in the engine and transmission from upsetting the balance of the vehicle, and that's where this car delivers in spades, is chassis balance. And then you put that down to the fact that this is a GT Porsche 911 rather than a standard 911. Birds even. And third gear, it's only a 6-speed manual, of course, but third gear is so versatile in its range. I mean, I've heeled and towed this morning, and it's wonderfully balanced and set up for the perfect heel and tow, but This automatic throttle blipping on this particular 911 is just fantastic. The only word, it's just perfect. I mean, we all believe that this car borders on being totally flawless in every aspect of its engineering goals. Other than the throttle bodies and the new exhaust system, my God, that throttle response is just out of this world. Well, folks, coming to a close, unfortunately, our day with the all-new Speedster. It's a real pity that you can't even buy one, probably, even if you've got the 604 grand sitting there waiting for a lazy Saturday afternoon to go and buy a Speedster. It really is tragic, but you know, it's the Ferrari model, isn't it, to build so few examples globally and have them consistently rise in value year on year. But I would have to say that GT3 RS, GT2 RS, the new 911 Speedster is my all-time favourite 911, which is saying something, I know. It's just absolutely remarkable. The pleasure that this car brings anyone that knows how to drive at least half decently. One of the greatest driving experiences I've ever had, and I mean that with total sincerity. Only wish I could buy one.